Back on the history trail today. We've done Korean, we've done Ballymena, we've done Derry City, and we've done Cliftonville. So today, I've gone a wee bit left field. Let's see where I am. I'm at the birthplace of Bohemian Football Club, Phoenix Park. Okay, this building behind me is a gatehouse, and this is where they were formed. I'm going to tell you a story of it, and I'm a wee bit gutted because I've came here and there was supposed to be a commemorative plaque, and when I've got to it, wait to see what I have. I'm a wee bit gutted here. Yeah, we've got a pole with no plaque on it. So anyway, the plaque's not here, but I'm here. I am at the birthplace of Bose. I'm going to tell a story. Bohemian Football Club were the first Dublin team in the Irish League. They joined in 1902. Bose are the oldest league club, or the oldest League of Ireland club. They've been in existence since 1890, and they're sometimes referred to as Dublin's originals. So, how were they formed? I told you they were formed there, but how were they formed? So it all begins here. We're a small group of aspiring footballers from Bell's Academy, which was a civil service college, joined students from Hibernian's Military School, which was an institution to educate orphaned children of British soldiers. So they met here in this building behind me, and they made an agreement, let's start a football club. So who formed Bohemian Football Club? It was Andrew Philip McGill, who was an 18-year-old Protestant, son of a Swiss mother, and a Hamilton Paul Bell, a 17-year-old Catholic, and they took on the roles as secretary and treasurer of the club. So the precise inspiration behind the name Bohemian isn't difficult to ascertain. You can tell that I've plagiarised this here. However, the official club history of Bohemian Football Club, published in 1976, states the name was proposed because the players were wandering in search of a suitable playing venue, and it reminded one of a bunch of gypsies, and as such, and I quote, they were truly Bohemian in spirit. So Bose played in the Irish League from 1902 to 1911, and then from 1912 to 1920. My next stop is Dalymount Park. See you there. Yes, I'm at Dalymount Park. Never been here before. There's a lot of renovations going on. Big stands getting demolished and they're getting a new one. Happy days for them, right? Let's talk about Bose then. So, why am I doing Bose? Bose were in the Irish League. Bose were an Irish League club before partition. So that's why we're going to talk about them. So let's go. Right, let's talk about Bose in the Irish League, baby. As I said, it's about 3 times now. Bose joined the Irish League in 1902. They were the first team from the sort of south of Ireland to join the Irish League. what's now known as the Republic of Ireland, but then it was all one. But the first team was south of Belfast. So it's windy. So in the first season in the Irish League, they got the Irish Cup final, and Distillery beat them 3-1 here at Dalymount. Everything I've got, I've written down, I've done my research and I read from it. It's easier, right? So anyway, we continue. Bohs got to their second Irish Cup final in the 1907-1908 season, and they met Shelbourne in this again at Dalymount. Dalymount was like sort of, from what I've read in history, Dalymount was one of the best stadiums there was about. Say it's called the home of Irish football, traditionally the home of Irish football. So anyway, in their second final, they met Shelbourne, another Dublin team who we'll do a vlog about. They met here at Dalymount, where they drew 1-1 in front of 8,000 people. Then there was a replay, played here again, and a bigger crowd came. 9,000 people turned up to watch this. 9,000 people here at Dalymount, and they watched as the Gypsies won their first Irish Cup by a score of 3-1. Gypsies is another nickname for Bohs. 3 nicknames: Bohs, Dublin's Originals, and the Gypsies. I think I've touched on the reasons why. I always call them Bohemians, but they're not Bohemians, they're Bohemian Football Club, but they're called Bohs. I don't know. Anyway, that was to be Bohs' only Irish Cup success. They lost the following season final to Tritonville after a replay again at Dalymount. I think they played the first game in Belfast and then went to the second game. They played it down here at Dalymount again, and they lost it. And it was to be the record crowd for an Irish Cup final at that time. 15,000 people came to Dalymount, travelling down from Belfast and around this area to support the two teams. In 1911, again, they lost the final, and that was following a replay here at Dalymount again to Shells. Shells and Bohs had a great rivalry back in the early days, because there were only 2 Dublin teams who were playing in the Irish League, except for one other team who we'll touch on in a wee minute. So let's talk about Dalymount Park. This is Dalymount Park, the home of Irish football. From 1901, this was the home of Bohs. The first game played here was between Shells and Bohs in front of 5,000 people. And Dalymount, as a ground, used to play host to Irish internationals when there was just the one Irish team, and even after that there, and it also did rugby and all sorts of stuff. So that is a long and short history of Bohs. Bohs left the Irish League following partition. There's a few different stories about why they left the league. One of the reasons is that the IFA were not happy with clubs travelling down to, you know, what was then the Free State. I think I've got that right. And also there was fights going on, and you can read about them and all. I'm not getting into the history of friggin' Ireland, be here all day with that. But anyway, that was the end. So Bohs in the Irish League, they won 1 major trophy. They competed in quite a few finals, and then they left, and they became one of the founders of the League of Ireland. So I mentioned that Bohs were in the Irish League. I've touched on Shelbourne being in the Irish League, but there was a third team from Dublin who competed in the Irish League. They were only in it for 1 year. There's very little information about them, but I'll tell you what I know. They were called Tritonville Football Club. They played for 1 season, 1912 to 13. They finished bottom and they dropped out. World War I commenced, and it messed up things anyway. So whether they want to come back in or not the next season, World War I sort of scuppered that. Now, this is the one thing I found on the internet about this here. And again, it's an Irish FA thing. Every club that I have researched, there's always been something with the Irish FA. So here we go. With Tritonville Football Club, this is what I've found written on the internet. It is said that the Irish FA did not like the fact that GAA was also played on Tritonville's grounds on a Sunday, and that didn't go down well. That's all I know about Tritonville. Don't know who played for them, don't know where they played, don't know anything. And there you go. Believe it or not, this is where Shelbourne used to play. This here is called Havelock Square. You recognise that place in the background? That is the Aviva Lansdowne Road. This is where Shells began. Shells were a South Dublin team. So they were. There you go. Now there's something else significant about the area I'm in. And I'll see if I can show you, because this is quality. I've seen this today. That's studio fans, because they film a TV production around here called Kin. That's a quality show on RTE, gangsters and all. This is it, baby. This is the birthplace of Shelbourne Football Club. Right behind me is a building formerly known as Shelbourne House Hostelry. I think I said that right. And it's now called Slattery's. And as you see here in a wee video, there's a wee thing up in the wall that shows that this is where Shelbourne FC were founded. So it was James Rowan, who was a labourer, and a group of friends who got together just across there, a place now called Slattery's, and they chatted about having a football club, probably off the tail end of Bows having a club, and there was loads of clubs sprouting out all around Dublin, so there were at the time. So that's where they were at. So I am in the actual place where Shelbourne Football Club were born. Slattery's, formerly known as the Shelbourne House Hostelry. This is where it all happened. They didn't have TVs back then. Probably didn't have electricity, but they had this stuff. So yeah, I'm going to have this, and then I'm going to head somewhere else. I'm going to talk about the history of Shelbourne in the Irish League. I'm going to enjoy this first. When in Dublin. There's a real significance to why I feel a wee bit, I don't want to use the word emotional, but I feel like I did something that had to be done there. I'll tell you why. I sat in the birthplace of Shelbourne. My great uncle used to play for Shelbourne in the 40s. There's a man called Johnny Alford. We always called him Vinny. Or Vincent, and my middle name's Vincent. I'm named after him. Whenever I used to stay up at my granny's house, she used to always talk about her brother Vincent and how he did this and how he played, and every time he came back up to Korean, he used to tell her stories and all, and she used to tell me all this growing up. A wee bit emotional actually. I can't believe that, man. No, my granny passed away a few years ago, but she used to always tell me stories about Vincent, and he would come up in that there. So there's a bit of sort of historical significance with Shelbourne and me, and I actually want to do a full video on them, but this video is only going to focus on their Irish League history. I'm going to where they played their football when they played in the Irish League. I'm going to talk to you about what they achieved in the Irish League, but I'm not going to go to Tolka Park. And the reason why I'm not going is because they were not in the Irish League when they played there. They didn't go there until I think it's like the 50s or something. So there's very little point in me going there. We're going to where they did play. So here we are at dog racing track. Wow. Shelbourne used to play here before it was a dog racing track. I'm going to go through their history in the Irish League, and then that wraps up this video. So here we go. Shelbourne joined the Irish League in 1904. They finished runners-up in the Irish League in 1906-07 when Linfield were champions that season. That was the highest place they ever finished in the Irish League. But Shell's success came in the Irish Cup. Their first final was in 1905 when Distillery beat them 3-0 at Solitude. But Shells didn't have to wait long for Irish Cup success, as the following season they beat Belfast Celtic 2-0 at Dalymount, where we were at earlier. Unbelievably, Shells competed in the next two Irish Cup finals. They were defeated by Tritonville following a 0-0 draw at Celtic Park in Belfast. They played the replay at Dalymount, which they lost. They lost loads of finals at Dalymount. They lost 1-0. The following season, there was a defeat by Bows in a replay. We talked about that when we were at Bows. But Shells avenged the cup final defeats by beating Bows in the 1911 final. Shells' final success came in the 1919-1920 season, where they won the trophy without playing a final, because Belfast Celtic and Glens, who competed in the other semi-final, were both ejected from the competition. Shelbourne's time in the Irish League finished in a bit of controversy to do with the IFA. Shelbourne got to the final of the Irish Cup in 1921. They played Glentoran in a match in Belfast, and they drew that match, so it went to a replay. The replay had been agreed. If there was a replay, it was agreed that it would be played in Dublin. However, the Irish Football Association went back on that promise, and Shelbourne could not play in the replay. It wasn't financially viable to travel from Dublin up to Belfast again. Anyway, that is the history of the Dublin football clubs in the Irish League. The only other thing to mention is Shamrock Rovers won the Irish Junior Cup. I know it's a wee bit weird doing a history video of Shelbourne and not actually going to Tolka Park, where they play now. But they didn't play in Tolka Park when they were in the Irish League. And I want to sort of move into doing League of Ireland history after I do Irish League history. Anyway, look, this one was quite an emotional video in the end, because coming to the greyhound track, my granddad used to do greyhounds. I used to go with him, not to greyhound tracks, I was too young. I used to walk as greyhounds. He used to take me to their training area and all. And say I touched on great uncle playing for Shells, and it's been an emotional video. It's weird because I don't know, but look, if you like these videos, like, subscribe, share, put comments in it, because I usually get things wrong. Loads of people were writing in the Cliftonville video, which is really appreciated. I'll be back in the Irish League clubs for my next videos. I'll not tell you who, but I'll be back in Belfast. Anyway, cheers guys.